Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear President Yang, dear Secretary General Zagelis, dear dignitaries from the Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan, Excellencies, National Federation Presidents, Secretary Generals, dear friends. I'm honored to be here at the FIBA Congress to address you all in my role as the founding chairman of the FIBA Safeguarding Council. As I'm sure we all agree, safeguarding is a vitally important subject, a subject that all of us in sports have a great responsibility to address. And FIBA should be commended for taking such a proactive approach in creating this Safeguarding Council. Working with my colleagues, I'm committed to ensure that FIBA does everything possible to protect and support its athletes and all its stakeholders. As many of you are aware, for a long time I've been a passionate advocate and activist for the improvement of safeguarding in sports, both the prevention of and the appropriate response to harassment and abuse in sport. I've set up and been involved in many commissions and committees focused on strengthening safeguarding, including as the chair of the IOC's new working group on safeguarding. That includes work done by the IOC, by international federations such as FIBA, and many other organizations across the globe. But there is still much, much more that must be done. It is not something that we can change overnight. It takes many years of hard work to simply get us to the point where robust systems and processes exist to protect the vulnerable. That is why, and I make no apologies for repeating myself, safeguarding and the provision of safe sport should remain a top priority for all organizations in every country. Harassment and abuse are a violation of human rights. If we safeguard people in and around sports, we can truly harness the power of sports for humanity. Because sports brings numerous physical and mental health benefits for everyone. It can promote social inclusion, cohesion, and interaction. It can positively contribute to social change. It can help us foster more peaceful, equal, and inclusive societies. But all of this brings an enormous amount of responsibilities to those running sports. We must ensure that everyone, children and adults, athletes and coaches, have access to safe, inclusive, accessible sporting environments. We can also use sports and the unique power it possesses in society to create a safer and more inclusive world. If there's any doubt of the importance of safeguarding, listen to these figures. Reports and research from elite athletes across the world indicate that a minimum prevalence rate for sexual abuse in sport is 13%. That is 1 in 8. And that is the minimum rate. Other studies have found much higher figures. And the rate of other forms of abuse is indicated to be much higher still. Safeguarding must remain a top priority for all organizations. And FIBA's commitment to safeguarding is clear for all of us to see. It is why I was delighted to join the Safeguarding Council as its founding chair, especially with 4 of the 7 members, including myself, not affiliated with FIBA. This means we are neutral, we are unbiased, and we're able to offer advice impartially. The speed with which FIBA moved to finalize a safeguarding policy in the second half of 2022 showed your commitment. To have FIBA, the international federation for one of the most popular sports in the Olympic movement, take responsibility in this manner sets a fantastic example for other IFs. More importantly, for those of us here, it sets a fantastic example to you, the national federations. While FIBA is able to set guidelines and policy, To advise you on how to best approach safeguarding, it has to be implemented at the local level. This is a key focus of the work that I'm leading with the IOC Safeguarding Working Group, in which FIBA is represented. We are working to establish independent systems and structures to support and assist with strengthening of safeguarding in sports at the local level. Change is coming, but we need national federations to drive this forward to ensure safeguarding is considered at every club. That is, every national federation around the world, because this is a global issue. During my involvement with safeguarding, I have seen incidents in all corners of the world. Nobody should believe that their country is free from such issues in this area. The responsibility falls on all of us. Much work is being done to ensure that organizations have the tool to prevent abuse and to ensure that when enough trust is gained for those harmed in sports to come forward, organizations know what to do to safeguard their well-being and ensure an appropriate response. Again, this is a key element of the work done by the IOC in collaboration with the Olympic movement stakeholders. Make no mistakes, building the trust for those harmed to come forward is essential. Without that, harm will occur and it will proliferate. Thus, when we talk about safe sports, we're also talking about the future of sports, the future of basketball. Children, the next generation of stars, need to have a safe and inclusive environment to fall in love with the game. They might love watching basketball, but if they don't have a safe space to play, then you risk losing them to other sports. The stringent zero-tolerance policies that FIBA has put in place will ensure that this does not happen. It is underpinned by the updated Basic Principles of Good Governance of the Olympic Movement, released in 2022. This requires all members of the Olympic movement to reflect in their respective rules, regulations, policies, and operations the need for, quote, a zero-tolerance approach to breaches of safeguarding principles adopted in all sports organizations at all levels, end quote. It also states the requirement to have an established, published, safe sports strategy. Tomorrow morning, there is a dedicated breakout session to discuss safeguarding. I'll visit the session, and I encourage everyone to attend. This will ensure that we continue to adapt and are able to provide the safest environment moving forward. Let me finish by thanking FIBA for the return to Asia for this World Cup. Our continent is passionate about basketball, and it is an honor for us to host a second successive World Cup. In 4 years' time, we'll see the first FIBA World Cup in the Arab world in Qatar. That is an event I'm already excited for, and we know they will put on a great show. But first, I look forward for the competition to start this year. Good luck on all the competing countries, and thank you all for allowing me to speak to you today. Thank you very much.